You think you know pain? Think again. The man who dishonored my family kneels before me. There will be no swift end for him. This is not an execution. It is a lesson, carved in flesh and bone for all to see, for all to fear. My blade traces the wings of an eagle on his back. A promise. Then the real work begins. I sever each rib from his spine and pull them outwards, creating wings of bone and blood. For years, your scholars have called this a story, a legend too terrible to be true. They wanted to believe we weren't capable. But what if the story was real? Your own scientists, with their clever machines, have tried to walk our path. And what they found should chill you to the bone. We are the Vikings. For 300 years, we were a force of nature. And among the stories you tell of our brutality, Mon stands above all others for its art, its purpose, its purity. The Blood Eagle. The greatest of these stories is of Ragnar Lothbrok, a legend, perhaps, but his spirit is the iron in our blood. Your King Glar of Northumbria threw him into a pit of snakes. As the venom took him, Ragnar promised that his sons would grunt when they heard how the old boar had suffered. And we did. Our sagas tell you what happened next. Ragnar's sons, Ivar, the boneless among them, gathered the great army. We came to England. We found King Gley, and to pay the debt for our father's shameful death, we gave him the worst fate imaginable. We gave him the Blood Eagle. It wasn't the only time. Our sagas speak of others. The pattern is always the same. A man of power kills one of our own. The vengeance is always for family. Always for honor. These are the foundations of the most debated rights in our history. Your scholars, sitting in their warm halls, love to argue. Was the Blood Eagle real, or just a story to frighten children? They say no one from our time wrote it down. Of course not. 2. The stories were written later by Christians, who called us barbarians. Perhaps they invented it to make us look savage. Or perhaps they were just telling the truth, but once. Another idea. It was a misunderstanding of our poetry. They claim carving an eagle was just a metaphor for a warrior falling in battle, left for the birds. Our poetry is complex, but it is not weak. We say what we mean. To think we would hide such an act in soft words is an insult. And their best argument? No bodies. Your archaeologists dig and dig, but they find none with the marks of the eagle. They say without bones, there's no proof. Essay. Perhaps we were just very, very thorough. With no living witnesses and no bones, they thought they could call us liars. To understand, you must see it. First, the man is held down, prone. An eagle is carved into the skin of his back, a map of what's to come. Next, the deep work. I use a sharp Tula knife, an axe, and I cut through skin and muscle to expose the cage of his ribs. The pain and blood are considerable. Then, the part your scholars choke on. Each rib is broken from the spine. A hooked spearhead works well. Do you use it to unhook each rib? Almost like unzipping a coat made of bone. Then you break them, pulling them outwards. A pair of red, bony wings. This is where the ritual gets its name. The final touch, a thing of terrible beauty. Reach into the broken body, pull out the lungs, and lay them on the wings. The sagas say the last breaths make the lungs flutter, like delicate flags in a final, fading breeze. Is it possible? Could a man's body endure this? Your people said no. Anatomically absurd, they called it. They were about to learn a lesson. And now, your world of science enters the story. Researchers at the universities of Kiel and Iceland grew tired of words. They asked a better question. Not did we do it, but could we have done it? They've used your software to construct a digital body, a virtual crash test dummy for our ritual. On this digital body, they performed the right, step by horrifying step. They tested our tools, our weapons. Their findings were published in a journal called Speculum, and their verdict: it was possible. All of it. Their machines showed that it was difficult, but achievable. They even found the perfect tool, a barbed spear ideal for unhooking the ribs from the spine. From a mechanical view, our legends held true, but their simulations showed them another truth. The victor would not see the end. He would not be awake. The shock, blood loss, and collapsed lungs meant death would come quickly. The idea of a man watching his own lungs flatter on his back. That part is a story. So, while our legends may have stretched the truth, your science proved the core was real. The carving, the breaking, the pulling out of the lungs, it was all feasible. The ritual would simply be completed on a corpse. But if the man dies early, why continue? You ask this because you do not understand honor. This was never just about killing. It was about destroying a man's name, his legacy, his very soul. The blood eagle was reserved for an enemy who had wronged a family. In a world where reputation is everything, this ritual was like ripping a man's page out of the history books and burning the shreds. To finish the work on a corpse was the ultimate act of shame. It denied him a warrior's death. It denied him a place in Valhalla. It was a message of power, a brutal sculpture of vengeance, meant to be seen, to be talked about, to be feared for generations. It showed our enemies the lengths we would go to protect our family's honor. The blood eagle is not so different from other ritual mutilations found in graves. It is just the most extreme, the most terrifying expression of a culture you will never understand. So, where do you stand now? For centuries, you have hidden behind your books, calling our ways a myth. Now, your own science has shown you the truth. We still have no skeleton that proves it happened. But you can no longer call it a fantasy. You can no longer say it was impossible. Your researchers proved the work could be done with our tools and our knowledge. They showed it fit our way of life, our ideas of honor and ritual violence. The sagas may have embellished the man's final moments, but the horrifying heart of the ritual was achievable. It is not proven, but it is now plausible. It sits in that gray space between a story and a monstrous truth. A reminder of the vengeance a man is capable of when his honor is at stake. So, what do you think now? After hearing what your own wise men have said, do you still believe the blood eagle is just a story? Or do you finally understand? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to explore more dark corners of history, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.